So you were in hospital, you just received the diagnosis, there's a lot to think about. But it turned out you were actually in hospital for a long time on that first occasion. How long did it turn out to be?
It was in total 6 months, but I got like the odd couple of days at home here and there, but only when I wasn't neutropenic, which wasn't very often because my bone marrow wasn't bringing my blood cells back up.
And talk us through briefly why you had to be in that long time.
Because the type of chemotherapy I had was stronger. I think your bloods, when you're neutropenic, you're open to infection. You haven't got very many platelets, so if I cut myself, I could potentially bleed to death or things like that. So literally, I'd have to be kept in a room, and also the first time my appendix went, so I had to have my appendix. My first chemo got cut short, and I had, I think instead of having 3 days, no, I had 3 days of chemo, then I had to have my appendix removed. It was supposed to be 10 days worth of chemo, but because I'd gone for the trial, apparently I'd still had enough chemo, because it was bigger dosages in that first 3 days, and it did get me into remission. So even after that, it was good. It was obviously hard going through an operation with loads of bags of blood and getting myself prepared for it, and it was very painful. But I managed to get up and about probably within about 6 weeks after that, and that's when I started my next block of chemo.
So how much chemotherapy did you have altogether?
I had 3 sessions of chemo before the normal high dose chemo, and then I actually had another one just before the transplant, which is like really, really high dose. So like I've had 4 kinds of chemo, but I think all 3 of them, the first ones, were slightly different. I know one of them made you eat pink, which that was a surprise. So when I went to the toilet and you have to measure things out and things, it was just like, oh my God, I've got pink wee. But it was quite, my friend had already told me about that, so it was quite a funny thing to see happen. I think the Hickman lining thing has to be fit before you have any chemo, and that was done the day after, because I thought they was going to start the chemo. I was diagnosed on something like a Thursday, and I thought they were going to start everything on the Monday, but they didn't. They decided, because of how ill I was, and literally like to get on with it over the weekend, they said they needed to, basically. Because they said if I'd have carried on the way I was, I probably wouldn't be alive the week after or something. I was just like, I didn't realise I was that bad.